Hello everyone, my name is Techno, and today I will be speaking with a technical operations manager, and we're going to be discussing about the promotion process for a cloud support engineer, ranging from a cloud support associate to a level 1 engineer to level 2 engineer, and also to other roles as well. We're going to be discussing on the promotion path and kind of the expectations of what you can do in the meantime as a cloud support engineer for your next promotion. So with that being said, Zeel, feel free to introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Brandon. My name is Zeel, as Brandon mentioned, and I have started as Cloud Support Associate back in August 2019 when I joined Amazon. This is my first ever job that I started in full-time career role. And from Cloud Support Associate, I got promoted to Cloud Support Engineer 1, Cloud Support Engineer 2, and currently I'm Technical Operations Manager for Linux team. I have worked in different teams like Windows, DevOps, worked on different services like EC2, Systems Manager, ECS, EKS, CloudFormation, etc. And I love being Amazonian. So specifically for Technical Operations Manager role, we have internal program which I basically completed and graduated and then went through the interview loop and got this role. And I'm enjoying this role so far.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Zeel. So before we get started on the internal programs, I first want to ask you more so about your journey. So when it comes to being a cloud support associate all the way to where you are now today, how was the promotion process going from cloud support associate, and kind of like what did you do in order to get promoted?
So I think Cloud Support Associate, when I joined, I was on Windows team. And at that time, I was working on specific customers, business customers. We have AWS support plan for business customers. So I was working with them. And at that time, I was solely trying to be the best version of myself as technical person because casework was my primary job. And then I started including myself in different projects and I started showing more technical depth in my skills, whichever service I was working on. And that's how my manager knew that I'm ready for the next step. And we have assessment for associate to engineer 1, and that's how I got my engineer 1 role. And from engineer 1, I think that was after engineer 1 to engineer 2, I think I thoroughly enjoyed my process, to be honest, because I became engineer 1 in Windows team. And then I was like, what is the hot topic going on in the market? So that was DevOps at that time. So I was like, okay, I want to go ahead and learn Docker and Kubernetes. So I went to DevOps profile. I talked with different engineers and they mentioned that like we can go ahead and get training. So I prepared myself and interviewed for that role and got into the DevOps team. And after the DevOps team, I think my manager helped me a lot in the promotion itself. So from Cloud Support Engineer 1 to Cloud Support Engineer 2, you need to go ahead and show that you are ready for that next role by different impacts that you make. So your core work is your casework, right? So you do that. And after that, on top of it, you go ahead and make different impacts where you help your team members, right? Where you go ahead and train other people, where you go ahead and do projects which can go ahead and help entire organizations. In Amazon, we say that you are a leader. Every person in Amazon is leader and leaders are owners. You own your career, you drive your career, and whichever way you want to drive your career in, you can choose that team, choose that path, and you just move forward with that. And you will have support, you will have multiple documentations, whichever path you want to pursue, and your manager support, your team support, you will get mentors for different roles you want to pursue. So yeah, I think that was my journey.
So I wanted to follow up with you as far as the timeline to be promoted, because a lot of people might have questions as far as, do I have to wait 3-4 years? Is it all about tenure in order to get promoted here at AWS?
No, I'll say the crystal clear answer is no. You don't need to wait for 3-4 years. Like experience matters in terms of how you are working on different projects. If you have those skills, if you have the impact created already, you can get promoted to the next level. The typical timeline, if I want to mention from Cloud Support Engineer 1 to Cloud Support Engineer 2, is like 1 to 1.5 years. And like you can accelerate that based on your own pace. Like if you are pretty quick in showing that impact that you are ready for the next role, you will get the promotion no matter what the time is.
So you explained about your projects that engineers can work on, but how do you sign yourself up for these projects in the first place?
So for the projects, I'll say first place you can start is service level project. So when you're working towards your SME, subject matter expert, go ahead and talk to existing SMEs. Go ahead and talk to service owners. And if there's any ongoing project, they will go ahead and involve you. So that is one thing. Second thing, any organization, any team is not perfect, right? We try to be better and better every day. So any process gap that you see, any tools gap that you see, right? Go ahead and provide feedback on that if you can, or you can go ahead and take initiative to go ahead and fix that, right? So I'll say, if you see any gap anywhere, don't be shy. Go ahead and talk to whoever is involved in that. If they have any point of contact, any POCs, right, for that program or that process, go ahead and talk to them that you have an idea and you want to go ahead and pursue that, right? So that's how you can go ahead and pursue a new project. Also, if you know, in Amazon we have a narrative process, right? So we have a unique writing culture. So let's say you have a idea and it's really super cool and you want to go ahead and work on it. You can go ahead and write a narrative about it. It can be 1 pager to 6 pager, depends on how big the idea is. And you provide data, right? And you go ahead and present that as a proposal to those program owners, and they will go ahead and approve your narrative. And after you get that approval, you can go ahead and work towards that project. So in that, basically you mention about like how a project purpose is, right? How the project will deliver, what is the timeline looks like, so all those things, right? So overall, I'll say, whenever you see something and you are interested or passionate about specific area, go ahead and talk to any team member, whichever team that you can see, right? Talk to them, just slack them, or go ahead and like talk to them in person if it is possible, and understand how you can go ahead and work on that specific area. So I think that is the best way to go ahead and pursue any project.
Absolutely. And I think ultimately it all comes down to the impact of every single project that you work on. The bigger the impact, the more visibility you get on that. And speaking of visibility, I'd like to ask you more about the question of metrics. How do you measure that impact on any kind of projects that you're working on?
So I will say it differs from project to project, right? Like if let's say you are creating a feature for any of the service, it depends on how many customers you are serving through that feature, right? Let's say you are getting a specific number of cases on that specific feature, which is much required, and then those cases goes down, right? The number of cases that goes down, that shows how much impact that you have created. So those are two things specifically for feature request. Other projects, let's say if it is a project related to any process improvement, so in that process, if there's any ticketing system that you can go ahead and measure, you can go ahead and do that. If it is related to employee engagement, right, ingenious, right, so you can go ahead and see that how the culture is work, like how you are creating that unique culture, how it was like a specific topic affecting before and after, right? You can check the sentiments. We have different tools to check the sentiments as well. So try to put it in numbers through different tools that we have. If you are not aware about how you can measure the impact, go ahead and talk to someone who can, right? We have also like different teams who specifically, like data analyst, business analyst, right? Those are specific people who do data analysis on their daily role, right? So you can talk to them and you can go ahead and take their help as well to understand a specific program is requiring like which kind of metric to measure your success.
When it comes to promoting from a cloud support engineer level 1 to a cloud support engineer level 2, can you tell me or describe to me what that process is like?
Yeah, sure. So from support engineer 1 to 2, first thing I would like to mention is that like when you apply for the role, you have a job description, right? And internally we also have job level role guidelines, right? So always make sure you read through that guideline. For engineer 1 to engineer 2, the main difference is that like as engineer 1, you supposed to work corely for your customers, right? Where after you work on the customers, when you also start understanding about problems and you also like implement solutions for that, you show that you are ready for that next level, right? So like you should go ahead and make impact in different areas for to become CSE2. And in that, you can go ahead and work in your local teams. You can go ahead and help doing trainings for other engineers who is joining your team, right? You can become mentor for them, do the mentoring or training. You can also go ahead and help in hiring, right? Or let's say you are becoming an interviewer. Or another thing which I really loved doing is ELS event. So it's nothing but engineering learning series event that we do. So when I was engineer, I went ahead and done the technical presentation for ECS service, Elastic Container Service, for Mexico engineers. So it was the first time that AWS launched their site in Mexico. And at that time, we had presentations from different teams, and I was one of the engineer at that time. And in that 2 day workshop, basically you learn something about the service, then you go through assessment, and if you pass that assessment, you go ahead and get the interview with us. So that was really cool, like working with different people and go ahead and help them in getting hired at Amazon. So you can do a cool project like that. So that is another one. Also, one important thing I'll say is become more and more technically skilled, right? And you can show that by becoming subject matter expert. So subject matter expert is nothing but you are making that service better. You are improving it by, let's say, working on any bug fixes, or you can go ahead and work with any specific customer to troubleshoot their issue and turn it out into resolution, right? So I think having SME, having more certifications, then helping your team, helping overall organization through different projects, and helping in different roles will go ahead and help you get that promotion from CSE1 to CSE2.
Really quickly, is there any certifications that are required if you wanted to be in this level 2 position?
Not required, I will say, but it's good to have, which is Solution Architect Associate certification and Cloud Practitioner. Those are two certifications which is good to have as CSE1, so that you can show that you have technical breadth of knowledge in different services when you are going to be CSE2.
I wanted to follow up with you on what you mentioned earlier when you mentioned about subject matter experts, right? Of course, projects play a huge role for your promotion, but also being a subject matter expert. Can you go ahead and explain further of what it takes to be a subject matter expert in the first place?
Yes, for sure. I think many of us started posting on LinkedIn as well, right? So, subject matter expert is a popular term, I'll say, but in a core itself, it's like you started working on a team. Let's say it's a DevOps team. In that DevOps team, you are working on ECS, Elastic Container Services. In that specific service, you are going to know literally like top to bottom about what that service does. What are all the features we go ahead and provide it to customers? How you can go ahead and troubleshoot them, right? How that service got created in the back end, and what are all the structure in that service which can go wrong, or which are like common issues that customer face, right? And how you can fix them, right? So that is like it's going to be basically a subject matter expert is how much technical depth you have, right? It's like you are expert for that. So let's say any of our customers is facing like production impact, they are having some business down issue, you are going to be the person who is going to help them resolve that issue. You are going to drive them to the resolution. Also, as a subject matter expert, you do projects where, again, going back to like service feature request or finding service bugs, or writing articles so that you can help customers, right? Let's say it's a popular topic that capacity provider in ECS is an issue, right? So you can go ahead and write an article about it, right? So that more and more customers will be educated on it, and they can go ahead and solve the issue on their own. So as a subject matter expert, you are trying to help customers and your engineers whenever they need help in terms of any technical issues.
Now that I am a cloud support engineer and I'm trying to figure out from a level 2 engineer, what is the next step after that? What's the promotion path looking like?
So after cloud support engineer 2, you can go ahead and become senior cloud support engineer. And as senior cloud support engineer, you are considered technical leader of your team. So you are able to anticipate and prevent problems basically from occurring by proactively proposing solutions for deficiencies. So you are creating like long-term solutions for your team. So you can go ahead and pursue that path.
I see. And how would I promote from a level 2 engineer to this senior cloud engineer?
Okay, so as I mentioned, as you are technical lead, right? So we have a term in Amazon, which is in Amazon, everyone is a leader, right? And as leader, you are owner. So you own your career, you basically drive your career, right? And when you become CSE 2 to senior cloud support engineer, you can drive it in any way that you like, right? So you can go ahead and work on a unique project, which will go ahead and present yourself in front of the management, right? That like what you bring to the table, right? So when you are becoming that senior engineer, you are voice of the customer for your domain, right? So I'll say you should go ahead and achieve multiple SMEs, right? Like more than two SMEs in different services to show that like you are technically proficient. You can also go ahead and get certifications like specialized certifications, or you can go ahead and have professional level certifications so that you can show your technical expertise in complex service domains, right? After that, you can go ahead and work on critical customer issues through escalations when you get, right? So you go ahead and troubleshoot and help customer on their architecture level issues, right? So you can go ahead and work that and record that. You can also go ahead and work on projects which is helping other team members and other leadership members so that our org can get better, right? So you are doing invent and simplify for others, right? Our Amazon leadership principles are a huge part, right, in promotion itself, as well as like anything that you do in Amazon, right? So always make sure you align yourself with them, right? So as if you want to become senior engineer, go ahead and be part of different knowledge communities, right? Go ahead and pass on your knowledge to other team members. When any cloud support associate or engineer one joins their team, they should be look up to you and they should understand what they should be doing for getting next promotions or how they should be helping customers, right? So go ahead and do that. As CSE, senior CSE, you will be part of critical decision making, right? So go ahead and familiarize yourself that how you understand the data, right? So that is one thing. And I'll say that start working across like different service teams and partner with different leaders, right? Because they can go ahead and provide you feedback, and you can go ahead and understand that like where you can go ahead and improve yourself, right? And I think last but not least coming to my mind is force multiply through others, right? You go ahead and empower your team members, whoever you work with, whoever is surrounded by you, like so that even if you are not there, right, they should go ahead and contribute for the betterment of our customers, right? So go ahead and do that. So when you become that role model for other team members, you can go ahead and get that promotion as senior CSE.
Okay, Zeel, you explained the process for promoting from a level 1 engineer to level 2 engineer, and then from a level 2 engineer to a senior cloud support engineer. But now I have a question to ask. What if I don't want to be a cloud support engineer anymore? Is there any other paths that I can go towards?
Yes, you have multiple options available to you. In Amazon, specifically in cloud support engineering, right, you have options such as solution architect, you have technical account manager. Let's say I wanted to become manager, you can become a manager. You can also, for solution architect, you can also become like specific pro serve consultant, right? So there are multiple options. You have network developer, system dev, multiple options, right? And internally we have pathway programs for all this roles, and we also have two-way door decision, so you can go ahead and give those role a try, right? In this pathway programs you learn about those roles, right? You go ahead and experience basically how that role looks like when you are doing it day to day, right? You work on projects, you work closely on actual on-field solution architect, right? And then you understand about that role. If that role is meant for you, you can go ahead and pursue it, right? And specifically all these pathway programs requires few things that like you require to be good at your current role, right? Then you are ready for the next level or next role. And when you are working with customers, it's good to have AWS certifications as well, right? Because that shows that you have that technical breadth. Any student, whenever I talk to, I suggest them to pursue solution architect associate certification, right? That's really good to have, because when you are talking to customer, you should go ahead and have knowledge about different services. As a solution architect, you are going to integrate all those services together, so it's good to have those certifications, professional certifications, and then any specialized certifications, advanced one that you want. But I think you have multiple paths available to you and you can pursue them based on your interest. Also, if you don't want to be in the customer side, customer facing role in the front end, you can also become software developer. So many of our cloud support engineers pursue internal program, which is for the software developer. So in that program, you basically go through a training phase, and in that training phase, 1 week you work as support engineer and another week you go ahead and work as software developer. So you go ahead and get training, you go ahead and learn about data structure and algorithm, and you go ahead and complete few assignments, few projects, and you go ahead and make yourself ready for the software developer role. And a couple of my engineers recently completed that and they successfully became the software developer in the AWS service teams. So I think that's also another path that you can pursue.
Thank you so much for coming onto this video to share with the audience on what it's like to be a cloud support engineer and the process it takes to promote. So I'd like to take this time to once again appreciate you for coming on here.
Thank you so much, Brandon, for having me here today. I hope I was able to give the roadmap to advanced career for cloud support engineers. And this is an entry level role. And as I mentioned, you can go ahead and pursue so much more after you join us as cloud support engineer, like SA, TAM, software developers, anything that you would like to, right? Whenever, whichever area is your passion, right? You can go ahead and pursue that. So I hope I was helpful in giving that insight. And with that being said, I think everyone keep improving on your skills and join us at Amazon.
Thank you so much for that, Zeel. For everybody who's curious to know, feel free to join our talent network because that's how you'll be able to develop and grow your cloud career. So with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, because we're going to get to your questions down below. So comment your pressing questions that you have for us, and we're going to get to it in the next episode. So thank you so much again for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.